Welcome. Happy Monday, July 13th. I think I shared with you all that my wife is having surgery. She's having brain surgery on Wednesday. So you can imagine in our household, there's a fair amount of just stuff going on, right? So it ranges from just dealing with like the logistics of getting all the paperwork settled and anticipating, several weeks of recovery. And then of course there's also all the mental stuff that's going on. So I found this quote which I really like. Anxiety does not empty tomorrow of its sorrows, but it only empties today of its strength. And that really resonated for me because I've noticed, of course, as my mind and in conversation with my wife, she's in obviously a whole other place, given that she's the one that they're going to be cutting into. Yeah, there's all these fears about the future, and so I thought it'd be good to try to tease apart these two very very tangible things that I'm sure we all deal with, right? So fear is an immediate physical reaction to a present identifiable danger. So the dog that's snarling at you through the gate stimulates fear, right? Because we can make sense of like, well, yeah, I don't want to get bitten by this dog, and he looks like he might want to bite me. Anxiety, on the other hand, is an anticipatory mental construct focused on future, ambiguous, or imagined threats. So, I guess another way of thinking about this is anxiety is fear of fear in the future, right? So, since I've been snarled at by the dog, now every time I imagine myself walking past gates where there might be dogs, my mind springs into this place of anxiety and saying like, oh gosh, it's probably going to be like that again, and I'm going to be really scared in that moment. So I think there's something really useful about spending some time sort of teasing apart or just getting familiar with the difference between the two, because it can relieve a lot of, well, anxious energy. Anxiety is in many ways easier said than done, but it's kind of a sort of a pointless exercise in a way. Anyway, let's poke our hole in our let's sort of open up that doorway and see what happens. So close your eyes. Let's take a couple minutes just to land. So noticing right here, right now, what's the body doing? What does it feel like to inhabit your organism? And one way to answer that question is just to do a really quick body scan. So just notice, what's it like to have feet and toes? And you may find some dramatic sensations there, or you may find nothing, right? But the idea is just to focus attention on the feet. Just get curious. And then what about the hips, the lower back, that whole pelvic area? What's it like to have a pelvis, those big femur bones sticking out of the pelvis, and the attachment to the spine? And we're not looking for any kind of desired outcome or desired sensation. It's really just noticing and observing. Saying like, oh, this is what it's like right now in this moment as I sit here. How about the belly, the whole abdominal area? So feeling breath coming and going in the belly. Does the belly feel settled? Does it feel activated? And moving up to the chest, to the heart, the lungs, liver, the ribs, and moving up towards the throat. See if you can notice air passing through the throat as you inhale and exhale. And then to the head. Lots of stuff going on in the head. So there's eyes, your nose, tongue in your mouth, lips, lots of sensory activity there. So just noticing. And imagine yourself hovering above the body. So you're 6 feet up, just kind of looking down, feeling down, just noticing this is the body in this moment. And everything's welcome. It's jittery, that's welcome. Feels calm, that's welcome. And then using our mind's capacity to remember things, see if you can bring up a memory that felt fearful to you. And ideally, on a scale from 1 to 10, pick a 5 or a 6. Nothing, not the most scared you've ever been, but just something where you felt fear in the body. So notice the situation you're in. And how do you know that you're scared in that moment? How do you know there's fear there? Where in the body do you feel that? Is the body contracted? Is it open? Is there any tension there? What does fear feel like in the belly, chest, the head? As I mentioned earlier, fear is there's a very direct, tangible sort of consequence to something that is happening that leaves you feeling unsafe. There's a potential for getting hurt physically, emotionally, both. So just noticing the direct threat that your organism is experiencing in this memory. And in this case, the body and the mind are doing exactly what they're programmed to do, which is get aroused, experience the sensation, the emotions in the body, because they're intended to help you pay really close attention to what's happening, to keep you safe, to fight back, run, to freeze. Those are programmed reactions to fear. And then see if you can become aware of how that experience has likely stimulated anxiety. So now we're we're time traveling into the future and we're imagining, well, gosh, if this thing happened to me with this person or that situation, then surely it's possible that will happen again. And that's anxiety. Anxiety is also there for a reason, right? We've had this scary experience. Now we're trying to keep ourselves safe by avoiding situations like that in the future. And so the mind spins and it anticipates and is thinking of all the possible scenarios down the road where the same thing, the same scary experience might happen again. There's something different about it, right? So this is fear of being scared in the future. It actually hasn't happened. Certainly there's nothing in this moment right now which stimulates that kind of fear. So it's really it's a mental construct. It's a mental activity that says, oh yeah, but so just noticing the difference between the two. Then we can use the sort of executive center of our brain to start posing some questions around, well, is this anxiety? Is it merited? How likely is this to happen again? If it happens again, do I feel better equipped to deal with it or not? And anxiety, I think, is nuanced because, of course, it's there for a reason. That scary situation was, well, it was scary. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So we can spend a lot of time being scared of the scary thing that may or may not happen in the future. And there's just a very different quality to that experience. And so just noticing that. And take a deep breath in. Long, slow out breath through the mouth. Relaxing the throat, the shoulders, the chest. And hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in and out. Relaxing the belly, the chest, the hands. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes, come on back. Wow, that one went by quickly. Um, yeah, I think it's a really good practice to be able to tease apart those two very real experiences. And yeah, the cool thing is we can use our mind to kind of challenge some of that bottom up, emotional sensory reactivity. And I, I'm finding it very helpful. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you guys too. Appreciate you all. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.